Thanks for waiting for me.
Absolutely. We were just making a little small talk. We were talking about what a legend you are in the Bay Area, California. So, all right. Good morning, everybody. I'm Don Yoakum. This is ProInsight, and today we are talking about the magic of thinking big. There is a book on this subject. I should credit David Schwartz for that. It is a fantastic book. By a show of hands, has anybody read that book? Okay, well, some of you need to read this book. Come on, it's fantastic. What I generally took out of it, if you want the super condensed cliff notes, is that a great way to think big is to start off by asking a better question. And so prior to starting this recording, we were having a conversation around tracking our business sources, which incidentally, I was at a business planning clinic the other day, last Thursday, with Stacy Peterson in Roseville, and she shared something that I thought was absolutely genius. Okay, so if you get nothing else out of this interview, take this note down from Stacy. And what she did is she set up 3 Google calendars, okay? And what she would do is when she had an appointment, she would put the person's name in it, and then she would put the source of that person, the business source, the lead source, and then she would put if it was a buyer or a seller. And then what she did is she shared with the other calendar. So it was in her time block, her regular calendar, right? But she would then be able to go to the calendar and see, sort by source, what she was generating in business. And I thought that was really, really great. And anyway, I'm going to have to get some pictures from her on that and then share them with you guys, or maybe actually get her to be a guest speaker and just share that particular strategy. So, but anyway, if you're not doing that already, track your sources. And where the better question comes into that conversation is, can I generate more business in less time and less money, with less, with less effort? And yesterday, a buddy of mine was, he texted me a postcard that was sent to him at his home, and he lives in some fancy gated community, and he got a postcard from one of our mountain biking buddies, Dana Reed. And what Dana had done, Dana's a loan officer, he had co-opted a just sold card with this agent, and it was over $1 million sale. And I presume that Dana does that because he has a referral relationship with this realtor. And so, by the way, Bob, I know you do just sold cards, right? Do you do just listed and just sold, or do you just do, how do you do it?
I stopped doing just listed, just solds a while ago, and I haven't actually become happy with that decision. And so I've been shopping with ways to get back into it. So I'm looking at some sources that have higher open rates, like audience.io and Robot Inc. and Celebrity Agent. They all have great products and some great database management tools. But I haven't actually pulled the trigger on something yet. I will before the end of the year, though.
Okay, good. So, and by the way, you guys, I asked Bob for advice on things because he's close to $35 million year to date in Evergreen Conifer area of Colorado. So he's just an extraordinary digital marketer. If they want to follow some of your digital postings, where would they go, Bob?
I primarily advertise on Facebook, and most of my, or just about all of my listings in my farm are at facebook.com/live love evergreen with titles caps. Live Love Evergreen. And I'm at Evergreen Agent on Instagram.
Awesome. Why don't you put that in the chat? That would be great.
Will
So
do.
so this would tie into you perfectly then, because I'm guessing when you were sending out those just listed, just sold cards, you were footing the whole bill. Is that a correct statement?
That is right. Yeah.
So do you see the difference with this agent that aligned with Dana Reed? He's paying half the bill.
Is Dana Reed a lender?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably do something like that as well.
Yeah. Well, so my point is, you guys, is that the better question here is, because incidentally, I don't know what Bob's statistics were, but I have found that on that kind of mailing, just listed, just sold postcards, it is extremely effective if you're combining it with other activities. Standing on its own, it's pretty darn expensive. But if you have like a 4-pillar marketing approach, it can be great helping you to take over a geographic farm. But, the question here is, how do I reduce the cost of sending out these just sold cards or just listed, just sold cards? Well, the easy solution is I get a affiliate sponsor. They're being advertised, I'm not going to pull up the image because it's on my phone, but it was half Dana and half the realtor, and I presume that they both paid half of the cost. And and let's just say that the lender wasn't up for doing just listed and just sold. Well, the lender has a lot of influence with the insurance broker. So what about if you put the insurance broker on the just listed and you put the lender on the just sold? Or vice versa. The point is that we have been attending a buffet for decades. We bring the food, the affiliates tend to bring a fork. I'm suggesting to you that is not appropriate. Okay. And so what my encouragement to you is to have them work with you to get all of this business that you're bringing to the buffet. Okay. And, so the simple, better question here with just listed, just sold cards is get a sponsor. Okay. And, you might say, well, yeah, but I can afford $500 a month to do this. Okay, well, then send twice as many cards. When I'm coaching somebody on building out a geographic farm, I ultimately, I'm looking for them to ultimately get, in my perfect world, to a 5,000 person farm. But you start out the gate mailing 5,000 cards on your first listing, you're going to go broke. So, my theme of that is start with 250, and as long as you're getting sales, it doesn't have to be from that source, but your business is moving forward in a productive manner. If you divide 5 years with 4 quarters, you increase your quantity by 250 every quarter, at 5 years you'll be at the 5,000, and you hopefully won't have gone broke in the process. So that's a way to get there, right? So let's talk about asking better questions around open houses. And by the way, if you guys are not doing open houses on sub 5 or ideally sub 4% assumable loans, you are so missing the boat. Okay. There's literally millions of FHA, VA, USDA homes out there that have assumable loans with incredible interest rates, and you should be holding them open and promoting that fact. Okay. Now, so the next question is, how many signs? And what a typical agent will do is put out 4 to 6 signs. What an extraordinary agent will do is to put out 25 signs. Okay. So Now, the thing you might be asking yourself is, how am I going to, I'm already working on the weekend. Do you really want me to spend an hour and a half, almost 2 hours, depending on the location, putting out signs, and then in the same amount of time picking those doggone things back up? And can I even remember where they all are? Okay, well, yes, I was having this conversation with a top agent yesterday in California, and he goes, and I was saying, and my suggestion was, well, get somebody to place the signs for you. And he goes, well, it's kind of expensive. And I says, well, why not have the lender and the insurance broker share the cost with you? You're going to get buyers at an open house, aren't you? They're probably not going to sit the open house with you. Certainly, you could get them to split the cost if you're doing the open house for everybody, right? Well, he goes, well, you know what? Actually, I did do some research on this, and there is a company out there. I don't know if they are available in your area, but you guys check out Place My Signs or placeyoursigns.com. It's either Place My Signs or placeyoursigns.com. Apparently, these guys will put out 25 signs and pick them up for 99 bucks. That's insane. Okay. So there should be no person of you that doesn't have 25 signs out there for every single open house. Okay. A open house sign is a mini billboard. Okay. So if we're trying to take over the neighborhood, you are going to have your branding all over the place. And by the way, if there's anybody, do not raise your hand and confess to this, because I'll shame you. But if there's anybody out there doing open houses that doesn't have their signs branded, shame on you. Okay, you should have your branding. If you've bought those cheap open house signs from the board, okay, stop that. Okay, go get some signs that represent you in a professional manner. By the way, you guys, do you know how the consumer determines who the top agents are in your area? The number one way that they tell? It's the person that has the most signs. It's super easy. Even in this digital world, when they see your signs, and by the way, do you think they distinguish between an open house sign and a for sale sign? It doesn't even have to be your listing, is what I'm telling you. You could look like the local hero and not have listings. For some of you that have been in my classes for a long time, you might recall me when I got into the business, I was the condo king. 60 days into real estate, I was the condo king, okay? It's because I ran a full page ad in Harmon Homes with 12 condos in it. I had none of those listings were my listings. I had just gone out and gotten permission to advertise those properties because I had moved into Long Beach from San Luis Obispo. I didn't know the market, but I figured I could learn 5 different condo developments pretty quickly. There was only like 3 models in each one. So I did that. And then I just positioned myself that way. And it worked great. Okay. So ask a better question, right? You might be saying, hey, I just can't spend more money, and the money that I'm spending is not creating the same result as it was pre-May. Well, news alert, the market shifted, okay? So you are not going to be able to do the activity that you were doing and get the same result. You guys are in different market areas, but roughly the market is off by 40%. Okay. So in order for you to get the same result, you're going to have to expend 40% more effort to just stay even. And that can be money, it could be time, it could be some combination of the two. Hey, but if all of a sudden your marketing budget gets cut in half because you have affiliate support, you could double your marketing budget and it will cost you exactly the same. That's a better question. Now, Harry, when he stepped away, we saw his little thing on mindset. That's a big thing right now, by the way, you guys. In fact, there is an extraordinary book on that subject too, which is written by Carol DeWick. I do know that author's name. If you haven't read that, I would super encourage you to read that, Having a Growth Mindset. And Harry, thanks for moving your head over. We can see your sign now. Anyway, but you know, as I'm talking to agents, you guys, and I've got agents now in 34 states. Okay, some of you, probably not the ones on this call, right? Because we've got confirmation bias, right? The people that are showing up for the training are actually working and looking to grow their business. But there's other agents out there that are going sticking their head in the sand right now. Woe is me, man, this is tough. And
It's not the time
you
to
know,
do.
somebody needs to mute. Owens, I think it is. Hold on a sec, you guys. Okay. So here's the thing, okay? Sometime in the next 12 to 18 months, we're going to lose 30% of our agents. That's what most experts are estimating. And I do consider myself an expert in this arena. And I'm estimating we're losing 30% of the agents in the next year to 18 months, okay? And the business is off by 40%. Okay, do you see the correlation there? In other words, for the agents that survive that initial fall, it's going to be roughly the same as it was before the correction in about 12 to 18 months. Okay, so just pull up your bootstraps a little bit, okay, and realize that we're going through a correction. It's tough, and your job is to ask a better question. How can I be better? How can I provide greater service to my clients? Are you guys calling 5 of your clients every day? Okay, if you have 300 people in your database, and please do that. Call as a real estate resource to become a realtor of choice, right? But one of the things that, and one of the reasons why I went down the rabbit trail of mindset is because I'm seeing a bit of negative mindset out there, which I love, by the way, because I know that my folks can just crush it in this. And so it's going to give us a market share opportunity. Okay. So view this, you guys, as a market share opportunity. If you will go on your toes, if you will show up for Dial for Dollars at 9:45, we do that 5 days a week. Write down this domain, www.dialfordollars.live. Okay, from 9:45 Pacific to 10 o'clock, we role play. From 10 to 11:45, we call. You show up, you get a raffle ticket entry in our drawing. You book an appointment, you get another raffle ticket entry. At 11:45, we debrief, and we do it 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. Actually, there's a small group of us that even come on Saturday at chatwithmatt.live, and that on that one we meet at 8:45 Pacific, we role play, and then from 9 to 9:50 we call, and then debrief from 9:50 to 10. So love to see you there as well. But the point is that most people are not doing that, and you guys can do it. It's free. Okay. And so but in order to have a positive mindset, one of the things that you guys probably also need to look at is your personal energy. Okay. And so I I'm looking at that for myself. I, pride myself on being kind of like a weekend warrior athlete. And I'm now, as I'm approaching my 60th birthday, and also Bob Miyako kicked my butt this year in a bike race, I'm realizing I'm going to have to raise my game. So I'm making changes. Okay. I stopped
Just for the
drinking.
record, that was payback for the many times that you kicked my butt.
Yeah. Well,
It takes
might have.
failure to motivate me to train hard, right?
Yeah. 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 Well, I have already done this, but I am officially putting you on warning that you are not going to be competing with the same guy next year as you did this year. Anyway, but my point is, you guys, is that to have a positive mindset and to and just have the energy to do what is going to be needed to do to achieve the objectives that you have, you're going to have to be healthy. Okay. So on your to-do list, I want you to consider health, job number one. And I want you to think of one habit that isn't serving your energy. Okay. And, by the way, I wasn't some raving alcoholic. I would have a glass of wine occasionally. Okay. Maybe two on the weekend, but it wasn't giving me more energy. And I found when I drink alcohol that I'd also have a little piece of chocolate. Okay. And if I want to lose weight, that is not a great formula. Okay. So just pick one thing that's kind of a bad habit of yours and replace it with a good one. Okay. It doesn't have to be extraordinary. And you guys don't go from, having bacon and everything to a vegan overnight, please. Okay. I don't want you to throw your body into trauma from all of the adjustments, but if you just change one habit in regards to your health every 90 days, you can probably survive that without too much torture and trauma. Okay. And the other, so think about that from a health wise. And also I would encourage you to apply this to relationships. You could put, I don't know that, you necessarily want to do this, but you could put all of your friendships onto a spreadsheet, from the one that gives you the most energy to the one that drains you of the most energy, of what you call friendships, the ones that drain you of the most energy. I'm not sure I would qualify that as a friendship, but a relationship. And you know what I'd encourage you to do? I'd apply the very same principle that I'm talking about when I said, hey, if you want to save money on coaching, double down on the thing that works the best and stop doing the thing that works the least. How about stop having a relationship with somebody that is feeding you negative energy and double down on a relationship that fulfills you and gives you more energy, right? I had this exercise when I was a Keller Williams team leader, which Jackie knows what I'm talking about how demanding that role is my assistant and I, we made a spreadsheet in Excel. I'm big on these lists. Okay. As you can see, I made an Excel spreadsheet of every single thing that I did. And I should give credit, by the way, to Dan Sullivan, because at the time I was going through this training, and the phrase that he had us work on was delegate everything but your genius, right? And one of my things was like making photocopies, right? And so what I did is I listed everything that I did, and then I put what you can pay somebody to do that for, like minimum wage for photocopies, okay? All the way up to a recruiting appointment, which might be like a $250 an hour activity. That was my highest and best use. And then everything in between. And so my goal every 90 days was to knock one thing off the bottom of my list, right? So I basically was top grading the how I was spending my time and the activities that I was doing, and so that I could get more time recruiting, less time making photocopies, right? So those are asking better questions, right? And the point I'm wanting to make for you is that this better question theory can be applied to every aspect of your life. Okay. And so now, what about bigger questions? Have you noticed how nobody's talking about 10xing right now? You know, Grant Cardone, I do find him a little bit obnoxious, I must say, but at least, you know, the guy puts it out there, right? And, you know, and what he's asking you to do is, how could I 10x this thing? And, you know, it is, I actually think it's a great question to ask. Now, whenever I have an objective, okay, when I'm going after a big, hairy, audacious goal, I will make a list of 20 things. I got this technique from Brian Tracy. You come up, he called it mindstorming. You list out 20 things that would contribute to the achievement of this objective, okay? That does not mean you need to do all 20 things, but what it does is it stimulates your mind around what are all the things that I could do to improve upon this situation? And then you prioritize those and, you know, maybe add one every 90 days. Again, go back to that system, right? But what I want you guys to be thinking about is, are you asking a bigger question? Most of you are wondering how you can do the business that you were doing pre-May. Okay. I want some of you to think about, I mean, Bob, is this your best year? Is that 35 million going to be your top year?
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I keep trying to not have my best year, but it happens anyway.
Yeah. Well, what a big problem that is. I'm sure everyone's just like feeling really sorry for you. Anyway, but you guys, the other thing that you want to do is hang with people that do something better than you in an area where you want to spend time. Okay. I mean, you know, I appreciate my friendship with Bob, but, you know, just having to show up and compete with that guy year after year requires me to be at a higher level. Incidentally, when he kicked my butt this year in Durango, my time was 20 minutes better than the year before. And he still beat me. Okay. So even though I didn't quote win our little competition, I won personally because I had done 20-minute improvement on basically a 4-hour competition. Pretty significant.
We raise the bar for each other, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You raised it a little high for my liking, actually. But you know, I'm basically right now trying to prepare such that I would be able to do your time that you did this year, right? Now, I can't control if you show up and you go and take it even another notch. I can only control what I'm going to do. So I'm telling you, I'm preparing to do, because I think you beat me by 18 or 20 minutes this year. I'm preparing to do the time you did. Okay. I can't control what you're going to do. But, you know, I know you prepared pretty well last time. So you're going to at least have to do that to beat me.
I think I have a higher tolerance for suffering than you do too.
Oh, do
I
you?
plan on expanding that as well.
Okay. Okay, well, we'll take that conversation offline. But anyway, you guys get the idea, is that what you're looking to do is ask a better question, ask a bigger question, okay? And then get yourself an accountability partner that will inspire you, right? Support you, hold you accountable. Okay. I mean, Bob and I are giving each other a little crap here, but there's also times when I've called him so upset I'm crying. Okay. And also I got somebody to call when I do something really special in a good way, right? And he'll give me a little pat on the back. So anyway, find somebody out there like that. Okay. And my suggestion to you is that they be in a referral market to you, that you agree to a daily texting. You identify your big rock that you're going to do, like Gary Keller talks about, your one thing. What is that one thing that you can do each day that is going to move the needle in such a way that makes everything else that you do easier or even non-essential? Okay, so you text your big rock to them, and then once a week you guys hook up on a Zoom for 30 minutes. And then what happens after 90 days is you begin to learn the little skeletons in their closet, and so it becomes less effective. But keep that person as a referral partner and switch partners and get yourself another accountability partner for the next 90 days. And keep doing that for the rest of your career.
Don, can I interrupt you for just a moment?
Sure.
It's Sarah here. So when we're looking for, I think you're saying have the big question, but a lot of us are thinking, well, who do we call if we don't have a database? And I found it's something that's been out there for a long time, but they're doing a special on it right now. I don't know if you guys are familiar with HomeSnap Pro or HomeSnap. It's something that a lot of us agents use. I do a lot of farming, and Don kind of spirited that. It's probably been a month or so. And HomeSnap Pro is having a special right now for $35 a month. And if you don't have people to call or you're honing in on a specific neighborhood, with HomeSnap Pro, you can narrow down to as many houses as you want, and then it will literally provide you narrow down who is ready to sell, essentially, who's probably in the middle, and who will most likely not sell. The difference between doing a traditional farming is you actually have to pay for these individual records. With HomeSnap Pro, you just click on the button and their email, their phone number, it might even have their Facebook, their LinkedIn, and has all their information. And I've been calling because I just kind of ran out of people to call. And I've been calling people, whether I have a client that's looking for a property in the neighborhood or a condo, or whether it's my own personal neighborhood that I want to build up my reputation. But it is the coolest thing because I use traditional farming. I'm like, why am I using traditional farming? It's that amazing. And then they also, on the back end, they do Google marketing for you, post ads, and verify your Google business. So you start getting calls through Google within 24 hours of being certified with them. I had already gotten 2 leads.
That's amazing. So Sarah,
if anyone's interested in learning about it, I'd be happy to help you, but it's super cool.
Put it in the chat. That's fantastic. And
yeah.
Thank you.
And they're improving what they provide all the time. The difference is a lot of people are doing the more expensive one. In reality, if you're a workhorse and you want, like I have a whole group there's 5 of us now. We do it every single day. Some people are a little bit more shy to get out there, but I've built up scripts and ways to help all these people because so many people are struggling. Whereas I am looking at this time right now as the best time. Maybe I've been a realtor almost 20 years. This is, to me, the best market that we'll have maybe ever in our entire lifetimes to gain traction and take clients from other agents that are going to leave the industry. by
100%.
providing yourself, by becoming that real estate resource. And if you don't have like a YouTube page, TikTok, or Facebook, there's just so many things right now that you can do that will set yourself apart. And then the number one thing that I found is anytime you post on social media, if you can use video rather than just a photo or words, videos get hit on 10 times more than just a standard, just old photo. But I'll post it on
Sarah,
here.
I got to wrap this up, but what I want you to do, because I love those suggestions, I want you to put that information about Home Snap in the chat, and also put your name and phone number if people want to get more information on it. So we're coming up on 45, you guys, so I need to wrap up, but I want the takeaway that I want you to have from this is that you guys can use this time as an opportunity, as Sarah just said. You can ask a better question, you can ask a bigger question, and it will matter if you then execute. That's why I want you to get an accountability partner that you have daily accountability on your big rocks, or get a coach. Jackie is an amazing productivity coach. Jackie, are you still on the line? Let me see. If you are, put your contact information in the chat. And so if you guys are looking for a productivity coach, let me know and I'll connect you with Jackie. At any rate, what we're going to wrap up now, because I need to get onto my Dial for Dollars group. But I hope this has been valuable to you. I really appreciate you taking the time to show up. Remember,
Great.
ask a better question, a bigger question, and execute, right? And have an accountability partner to hold you accountable to that. Looks like Denise just put, Denise, do you want to just mention, what do you got there about Breakthrough Broker? What is that about?
So Breakthrough Broker is a site that is for realtors by realtors. It has a lot of marketing pieces. I know that they can print the postcards and mail them, put the addresses on. I use Title Toolbox to get the addresses, and I can buy phone numbers and email addresses. But anyhow, I just load up the addresses into the system, and then they can mail it all out for as low as like 50 cents per postcard. It's actually pretty economical.
That's awesome.
They're quite competitive. That is one of the things that I pushed out when I was out in the field, when I was on the title side.
Right.
So if anyone has,
I'm sorry, go ahead, Denise.
I was just gonna say, if anyone has any help, needs any help in anything like that, happy to share it.
Awesome.
It might be worth having a mastermind related to direct mail, because one of the reasons I am vetting those 3 companies that I put in the chat is because of the open rates, which is significantly different among different styles of direct mail.
Yeah, you know what I'll do is I'll organize one. Jackie's going to be our speaker next week, but I'll organize a direct mail training, and I'll bring some resources. Maybe I'll get somebody from Home Snap or Title Toolbox. We've had people from Property Radar. You know what Sarah and Denise are talking about, you guys, is there's algorithms out there that will identify for you people that have higher probabilities of moving, and they're looking at time in the house, they're looking at equity positions, and actually I think some of those algorithms look at dozens of different factors. And so that's asking a better question. In other words, some people just circle dial. Other people are calling people that have a higher probability of moving. What makes more sense? Of course, you want to, if you have a better chance with a particular group, then that's who you should be calling. And And so I just want to have you just evaluate your business and ask, is there a way that I can be doing this better, cheaper, more effective? Okay. All right. Thank you so much. I'm going to stop the recording with that and wish you guys